So, welcome to part 2 of the series I'm doing with my friend Monica Strut about how to launch your band from scratch if you don't really have any assets, you're just trying to figure it out for the first time, yada yada yada. So, I've got a delicious, what do I have today? I have a delicious Black House Fumas cigar, and we're going to kind of get into it. So, in terms of preparation and assets, this is a really big part, right? I think there's a few key components to kind of dig into here. I think first and foremost is understanding what your budget is, and also, quite frankly, understanding that no one is going to invest as much as you. It's nice if other people are willing to invest as much as you, but a lot of the time, and I've just seen this happen time and time again, most bands have one guy doing most of the funding. And obviously some people have found better solutions around that. I'm just preparing you for disappointment. Beyond that, though, in terms of preparation and assets, think about how you want to position your band. And this is really a key one, because I think a lot of people just start putting stuff out there, but they don't really think about, where does my band fit into the larger overall scheme of things? Where does my band fit? What is my band trying to do? Who are we? What are we about? And I think understanding kind of your position in the scene is very important, because I think a lot of times we jump over that one, for lack of a better term, and I think that it's important to kind of think about, okay, cool, so if we're trying to be like a stoner rock band, deep in sort of the Ripple music side of things, right, then look at some of the bands around you, look at some of the bands signed to Ripple Music and look at what they do. So much of pushing your band on social media is really just doing stuff like that. It's really just, okay, what are the people around me doing? So start to do that as you start to map out your success, right? Is like, okay, how can we emulate some of the bands we want to be like, right? And so that leads you to kind of figuring out what assets you need. The assets you need band to band are pretty different. What I generally recommend is you start off your opening salvo, if you will, is just sort of like, I don't know, a 3 or 4 song EP, just as a way to it starts to get you shows. Maybe you can do some press around it, but it's more of a way so that people can be like, oh, I know what this band is about, and then once you launch, tied into that, right, you would launch your social media page and you kind of get those assets together. Now, for social media assets, a couple basic things you're going to want. The main one, of course, is you're going to want to have, totally forgot the word there. You're going to want to have a photo shoot. You're going to want to have some sort of picture, just so that people can associate. I know it sounds silly, but it needs to be a good picture. It needs to be a serious picture. It can't be you guys hugging in a parking lot, which I've literally seen bands do. That can't be your picture. Your picture has to be, something done well. And it's going to only cost you like $150, $200 to get a top tier photographer for that. I know photographers for Grammy winning bands who charge about that much, right? You can do that and it's not going to be crazy. And then that's going to be, that's going to already make you look super professional and make you look good, right? So you get your photo shoot done, you get your demo done. Oh, and with the demo, you want to get some good artwork done. Don't let that be just like the bass player's girlfriend is a graphic designer and does it or something, or, oh, the singer's cousin can help out. Try to make sure that it's someone professional, someone who's actually done this before. I think a lot of the time, people kind of start with subpar art, but the thing is, first impressions are everything. I'm not saying to dump $1 million on some highfalutin artist, but maybe, find some relevant artists in your scene and hit them up for prices. I think there's a fair amount of people out there who are not as expensive as you think, and $300 across 5 dudes, if you can get everyone to pony up, that's pretty cool. You can get something decent for that. My personal hack, if you're trying to get those assets together, look up some artists in Indonesia and stuff. Those guys will usually do it for super cheap. You can find something on Fiverr. Alternatively, what I like, especially within metal, is you can search your genre hashtag on Instagram, and there'll usually be artists there who are uploading pieces of art that they that you can just buy from them, for a fee, and that's usually pretty cheap. That's usually a pretty good way to kind of generate a little bit of income for what you're doing. So, I think that almost more than anything else is key, is getting your band photo shoot together. All right, that's pretty easy. Getting your demo put together with a good piece of art, and then building your socials around that so you look kind of pro just to start off with. I think those are sort of the key basic assets you need so that you can kind of get moving on to the next phases. Just a few thoughts for you. Keep watching. Next week we'll have 2 new videos for you to check out.